on Curiosity Stream. He allows them their riches.
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
In exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we had Tuesday Drink Desk and Steve with Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast an anonymous 2.5-year-old young man from somewhere in the UK. All we have is video of him seated at a dinner table with his parents. And then he does this. I want you to listen to this sound and understand this is the product of a 2.5-year-old child. That was a fart. In case you're wondering, that was a fart. It sounds like you're starting up a car. It sounds like you're at the Indy Motor Speedway. Goodness. That is a 2.5-year-old child. And when you look at the video, the kid just farts. This kid's fart. And the parents, just the looks they get on their face, looking at each other. And it's one of those things where we should probably say something to the kid, but let's first admit with just eye language, I am very impressed.
That's amazing.
I don't think I've had a fart like that in my life, man.
He's gassy.
That kid has never felt as good as he did right now.
Oh, no, man.
That is relief.
He can finally eat.
What is the sound of relief? Yeah, we're drinking to this kid. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because you think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve with Throwhill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Patrick. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Patrick, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 3 stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Gotta go in the butt.
All right, well, this is not in the butt. It's in the penis.
Again?
Again. Tell me you're not impressed with that. I mean, I don't care if it was at the wedding. I don't care if it's at a funeral. I don't care if it's during the State of the Union address. Like, if you fart like that.
That was just the first part of it. He had more.
Yeah, there was a little bit more.
Yeah, he actually farted later. I mean, he was like,
yeah. All right, so in this case, we go to Iran, where an Iranian man was forced to go to the emergency room after shoving something into his penis and what they're calling a grotesque stunt. The fiasco came to light after the unnamed 49-year-old man reported to a hospital in Tehran where he informed doctors that he had the object lodged in his genital organ for 24 hours. During a follow-up visit, the patient complained of a recurrence of obstructive and irritating urinary symptoms, including all kinds of things. In other words, it stung when he peed, and he could barely pee, as it were. He also reported experience.
I know that feeling.
Oh, yeah. He had a burning sensation whenever he tried to urinate. Meanwhile, subsequent x-rays revealed the severe and progressive scarring to his urethra, which mitigated the amount of fluids that could flow through the tube. So doctors surmised that the scar tissue buildup could have been caused by toxic chemicals. Well, the patient never revealed his inspiration for the logjam. However, surgeons observed that patients shoved items into the urethras for a number of reasons, including psychiatric illness, autoeroticism, intoxication, and perceived contraception. However, medics found the man's case particularly odd, as he didn't have a history of mental illness. Inspiration notwithstanding, leaving objects in one's privates for extended periods, well, it can cause all kinds of problems, including gangrene and erectile dysfunction. Anyway, they eventually removed the object and then used a skin graft from the inside of his cheeks and lips to repair the damage. It should also be noted that to get in there to remove this thing, they had to cut through his perineum.
Oh,
yeah. The zipper between the front and the back, if you will. He was finally discharged from the hospital after a 3-week observation period, whereupon he came for a 6-month checkup, revealed he had fully recovered from the fiasco. Now, the question is, what did he insert into his urethra? Was it a pen top, a battery, a phone charger, or a Q-tip? So pen top, battery, phone charger, or Q-tip?
Oh, Jesus. I don't like any of those answers.
Yeah, I say there's no good answer here, man.
Well, what do you think, Ted?
I don't know. I feel like maybe he's trying to get a charge out of life. So I'll go battery.
Battery from Ted.
Battery?
I'm going to go Q-tip since it got infected. Because I feel like it holds moisture. You know what I mean? So maybe it just kind of got to the point where it soaked up some stuff.
Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go with Ted because of the scarring that could have been caused by chemicals.
Okay. All right. Well, there was a leak.
Battery.
All right, we're going to find out what this guy stuck up his urethra. Was it a pen cap, a battery, a phone charger, or a Q-tip next?
That was a tease.
New on Curiosity Stream.
From time to time, we have collisions between asteroids and the Earth.
We track them. We study them. We hope the big one never comes. Don't look up. It's Asteroid Rush. And alligators. They rarely get sick. They even outlasted the dinosaurs. Could they hold the secret to human longevity?
Their blood could have antibacterial applications.
Wade into the investigation on immortal alligators. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with a dedicated row of solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category is interior decorating. On profile this, Roddy man went to the ER after lodging something in his urethra. Apparently, he did it as a stunt. Object was successfully removed, and he eventually recovered. Question is, what did he stick up there? Was it a pen cap, a battery, a phone charger, or a Q-tip?
Hey, Patrick, that is the very question we asked you, but let us start with the Miles Montgomery. Went with Q-tip, which made sense, got infected, like you said, it would hold moisture, bacteria, etc. However, and then, Patrick, you agree with D. Smith, went battery.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit extreme.
Oh, man.
You are correct. Now, tell us, what size battery do you think it was?
Well, judging on the area where it was, which starts with an A, so I'll say single A battery.
Double A.
Damn!
Although technically, in that moment, it would be a D battery.
But that is amazing.
I mean, if you went AAA, I'm still. But I go like, okay. But even the AA battery, I'm like, yeah.
That's one of those weird situations that was a positive and a negative.
There you go.
Battery jokes.
I'll bang this drum all night. Like a battery joke.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right. Lots of choices for you today, Miles.
All right.
Seth Meyers.
Okay.
The Jimmys.
Fallon Kimmel.
Writers. Or Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is late night. The title. All these guys have teams of talented writers who help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It's up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a V. Ted Smith original?
A writer for The Atlantic coined a new term this week. Nocturnals are people who sleep all day and live their life at night, specifically to avoid society. Or, as we called them in the 80s, cokeheads.
V. Ted Smith.
Fallon.
Smith. Yes. Hollywood is taking action on the war. Warner Brothers has decided that the new Batman movie will not be shown in Russia. You're gonna invade Ukraine? Okay, you're not getting Batman.
Kimmel.
Fallon?
That's Kimmel.
Hollywood is taking action. Warner Brothers has decided that the new Batman movie will not be shown in Russia. You're going to invade Ukraine? Okay, you're not getting Batman. And
NASA has said despite the war, U.S. and Russian astronauts are still working together on an international space station. It's not great, though. Today, one of the astronauts said, Houston, things are awkward.
Writers.
Fallon.
Meanwhile, NASA said that despite the war, U.S. and Russian astronauts are still working together on the International Space Station. It's not great, though. Today, one astronaut was like,
Houston, things are awkward.
Simon Cowell recently revealed that someone offered him $150,000 to judge their sexual performance. If the guy wanted to hear someone tell him how bad he is in bed, he should have just asked his wife.
Writers.
Yeah, writers.
Writers! Yes! You got found out! New York Times has published a report that the U.S. officials are currently debating...
Act like
The thing is, New York Times has published a report that the U.S. officials are currently debating Russian President Vladimir Putin's grip on reality. In related news, Putin just ordered troops into Hogwarts.
Seth Meyers.
Yeah, Seth Meyers.
New York Times published a report that U.S. officials are currently debating Russian President Vladimir Putin's grip on reality. In related news, Putin just ordered troops into Hogwarts.
I heard their Quidditch team's on steroids.
That's why they got canceled.
12 Russian diplomats were expelled from the U.S. and sent back to Russia after being accused of spying. The U.S. knew it and made the right move when 8 Russians and 4 office plants got up and left for the airport.
Myers.
Yes, Seth.
Fallon.
Well, as the war continues, I read that 12 Russian diplomats were expelled from the U.S. and sent back to Russia after being accused of spying. The U.S. knew they made the right move when 8 Russians and 4 office plants got up and left for the airport.
Yeah, that's the old school kind of spy.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a plan.
Yeah. That's what I would do. Be like, oh, don't pay attention to me. I'm just a succulent. All right.
Thank you for saying that. Otherwise, non-speaking plant. Now I'm at ease.
Like the guy who dresses as a bush in Asbury Park and scares everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he scared you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. That's a traumatization.
He was not happy.
Told you the secret is to sit on the other side of the street and laugh. All right. So, Wheel of Fortune. First of all, I am not a big Wheel of Fortune fan, as I am a terrible speller.
Yeah, that would suck the fun out of it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right? It's like there's certain things you don't do. So people that go on Wheel of Fortune obviously are good spellers. Mm-hmm. Also, part of it is knowing phrases and this and that.
Right. It's usually common phrases or a destination everyone's heard of.
Before and after.
Right.
You know, that one always confused me. So they had a category phrase. And the answer was another feather in your cap.
Okay.
Now, listen, on the board, right, the letter A is lit up. Feather is like basically there. They're missing like a vowel. So it's pretty simple. Like, I watched this last night. Even for somebody like me who can't spell, it's like, oh, it's another feather in your cap.
Right. We were looking at it this morning, like, because you know the saying. I think there's only, 2 or 3 letters missing. And I want to say they had the word another. They had the word feather. Blank in, right?
Right. So
they had most of it.
Right, exactly. With almost all the letters filled in right. It took 3 contestants to combine 9 turns to solve it. One woman made 3 wrong guesses, saying the last word as hat. Now, there's been an update to the story, right? Because one dude hit bankrupt and lose the turn.
He's the only guy that knew the answer, but he hit bankrupt, then he hit lose the turn. So he's getting frustrated. Like, I don't know how these 2 broads cannot figure this out.
Right, and the other, right, so she gets a couple guesses. So lap was said, map was said. Now listen, and right, and the other guy guessed 2 wrong letters, G and D. I watched it, right, you're like, this is hilarious. Now with that said, the update on this story is Pat Sajak has taken to social media today, which he has a valid point. He's like, look, when you're up here, when you're actually on the show, it's a lot different than watching it at home. Right, we hear it every time we play Big Dummy. People are like, I'm always right. Now I'm on the air. I'm a little nervous.
Sure, understood.
It's like, sure. Some people thrive under pressure. Some people play Wheel of Fortune. But his point is that the phrase sometimes is another feather in your cap. But some people do say another feather in your hat.
Right. Which was not guessed.
No, it was.
Oh, well, it was.
That was the first guess.
Okay, got it.
Right? Because the A was in there. So what he was trying to say on social media was like, once they said hat, everybody kind of freaked out because they thought she got it right. Right? Now you realize you're sitting there on national TV. You know, it's all over the place. So that's Sajak kind of back at, like, trying to take defense for him.
Sure.
Now, also, I will say this. People on social media are going to have fun with you, calling you a dummy or whatever, but, like, I don't think anybody thinks these people are, like, not, like, dumb. Like, right, they're on Wheel of Fortune. They obviously know how to play the game. They obviously have some book smarts that they can figure this out. So, I don't know. Like that, Sajak basically made me feel bad for laughing about these people all day.
I didn't.
No.
I saw his quote like, yeah, dude, one, it's social media. If you take anything personally on there, you're wasting your time, or you're just going to have your feelings hurt all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's social media. That's where the worst of us comes out. But in this particular case, with this particular clue, they're just having fun. I laugh my ass off watching.
Yeah.
It's like, God, the one dude who knows what it is can't land on money. It's like bankrupt. And somehow goes all the way back around again. He's like, cool.
Hey,
and you can tell he's lose a turn. Lose a turn.
Then he got bankrupt again.
Like, damn, man.
I know. Well, and that's the thing about social media, too, right? Like, I don't know. Like, in our job, right? Like, you just have to get used to it because it's every day.
Sure.
Right? So, and like, look, I do think there is a buildup of that. That'll take time to see studies, like most things do. But for these people, like, people are just like, oh, my God. So they're normal people. They have no job anyway in the public light. So I get where Sajak was trying to protect him.
Sure.
So I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, I laughed at it. It's cool. It's a good story. I'm a terrible speller. Not the greatest thing I've ever seen. Now, when somebody on Jeopardy gets Final Jeopardy wrong, I'm like, you are stupid.
You dummy. You don't know 18th century French literature.
Right. And it's like that was everybody's favorite class.
Oh, God, wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. I don't know that I could even tell you one part.
Nothing. I could tell you nothing.
Idea. 18th century French literature.
I remember that was a category once. And when the guy picked that category, like, I physically got up to get something to drink. Like, I don't even need to hear the question. I know I don't know the answer.
I'm not sure I know the answer. Like, God, could I name a book from France in the 1700s?
I don't know.
When did the Marquis de Sade come out? I don't know.
I mean, totally different century, and an American, Thoreau is the closest name that I can even think of that's
You're already better than me.
That's French in literature.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not.
But I mean, Napoleon's not even showing up to the 1800s, the 19th century.
Not a prolific writer.
He was a prolific rider, though.
Rider, yes.
Yeah.
Rider.
Of horses.
Probably got
Lots of paintings of that.
He was kind of famous for riding a horse. You know what, though? Back then, everybody in the Army rode a horse. Wasn't?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I shouldn't say that. There was people that walked. Some people were in the cavalry. Anybody here scared of babies killing them? Not emotionally, but financially.
What do you mean?
I mean, literally, have you ever seen a baby and been like, oh, man, that thing could kill me?
No. Has not happened yet. I won't rule it out. Saw a little son of a bitch with googly eyes the other day.
Right.
I see you looking at me. I know what's going on in your head.
HBO's premiering a show next month about a baby that might actually be a killer.
Come on.
It's called The Baby. It's about a 38-year-old woman who's tired of watching all her friends have babies. You know, why does she have to be 38 and tired of it? Seems like a stereotype. Whatever, HBO.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She ends up taking care of a child. She learns, quote, the true extent of the baby's deadly nature, and then tries to get rid of it.
This is a show they're making.
Yeah, The Baby. It's an 8-episode show. Premieres on April 24th. But apparently, like, killer babies aren't new. There was one from a 1974 horror classic, It's Alive.
I'm going to Google this.
And then Joan Collins was in a movie 1975 called The Devil Within Her about a killer baby.
The Devil Within Her.
Yeah. And those two movies came out back-to-back years.
Oh, Killer Babies was big in the 70s. What was the name of the first one?
It's Alive.
It's Alive.
Well, and they say horror classic, which leads me to believe it's one of those things that, like, maybe everybody doesn't know it, but, like, people that are really into horror films and, like...
Those are typically campy.
Yes. Which I think it would be. Kind of like Killer Clowns.
Early 70s horror movies are campy.
Right, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's Alive. The Davies expect a baby, which turns out to be a monster with a nasty habit of killing when it's scared. And it's easily scared. That's the movie.
Well, yeah, because it's a baby. That sounds kind of funny now.
I know.
Like it kills when it's scared. It's like, wait a minute, it's a baby. It's scared of everything.
Wait a minute. They remade it in 2009.
Cool.
A baby born to a human couple turns out to be a mutant monster with an appetite to kill when scared. So same basic premise.
That's exciting.
I'm going to watch that movie.
Yeah.
They invented weed just for movies like this.
I wonder sometimes, too, if it's just the popularity of rappers, right? The Baby's popular.
Yeah.
Lil Baby's popular. HBO's like, screw it. We'll just call a show The Baby.
The Baby.
It's like, that's not how it works.
He should do a cameo at least.
Which one? Lil Baby or The Baby?
The Baby.
Or Babyface.
Yeah. Oh, God. Montgomery, you love R&B, and I respect it.
Hold on, I'm watching the trailer. I want to see this baby.
I was going to say this.
C-section.
Yeah. Oh, that's an ugly baby.
Again, in their defense, decent premise for a movie, right? If the baby's scared, it attacks.
I have to wait for it. You'll see what this baby kind of gets up to, all right? It's an ugly little baby. Now look, dad's trapped in the basement. He can't get out. That's what babies do. Now the cop shows up, shining the light. You know that's always a bad scene.
You think the baby's like sharpening up a pacifier? Make a little shank?
When the baby sleeps, this is the text you're putting on there.
When the baby
be quiet.
You better be.
That's what it says.
Well, that's a given. You better be quiet if the kid's asleep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, monster
that's right.
or not. Shh. Dude had a shovel in his hand. That tells me at some point this kid gets hit with a shovel. I'm in.
Well, remember. Oh, are you watching the trailer for the new show?
Mm-hmm. The updated movie. It just shows dad with a shovel. And I'm like, the idea of someone hitting their own kid with a shovel, I don't know why it makes me giggle.
Well, and remember, with this baby show, right, that's the whole thing, is that this 38-year-old woman who's tired of watching all her friends have babies, but when she ends up taking care of a child, she learns, quote, the true extent of the baby's deadly nature, then tries to get rid of it. Which, HBO, we left that open-ended.
Yeah.
Is she just, like, getting rid of it, like, physically? Because when I hear get rid of a demon, like, I feel like you're going to hurt the demon. But again, it's a baby.
Wouldn't you feel kind of bad? Like, I know it is the devil inside of this baby, but it's still a baby. And you're telling me to beat it with a cross or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
I know I should. I just can't bring myself to do it.
It's kind of how the devil works.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Keanu Reeves wanted to get rid of the devil, but that chick was hot. It might have been his sister. I was always confused about that scene. All right, let's see.
The devil's so hot. I know it's the devil, but damn.
Watch some Jimmy Kimmel tonight. And also, one of my favorite people, very funny, Nick Kroll.
Are we avoiding bringing up the sports team for the Jinx?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimated.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Oh, fiddlesticks! What, Wilbur? We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com.
Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Florida man attacks a woman with a machete at, wait for it, a Waffle House. Meanwhile, a man walks up to a woman at a subway station and covers her head and blouse in his poop. A side effect of COVID is that roller skating rinks is back. Teens in North Carolina find human remains after a baseball they did smack. And 2 kids are charged with battery after a silly string attack in Florida. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
And a top story we go to Florida where 2 kids landed themselves battery charges. Police were called by their victims who were underage, which prompted the officers to call their parents. After hearing what happened, the parents of the victims decided to press charges against the minor assailants. The officers then served the kids notices to appear in court for battery charges. Their crime? Shooting other kids with silly string.
Yeah, they're not going to love the legal system when they get older.
No, they are not. Why?
I mean, sorry, man, but when I was in school, if you did something like that, the worst thing to happen is, the teacher reprimands you, maybe you go to the principal.
Right.
But it kind of ended there because it's silly string.
Exactly. Call their parents, let the parents reprimand them, and then move on.
But it was not a legal issue for sure.
Pressing charges? What are you looking to get out of these kids?
I don't know.
Goodness gracious,
I
man.
don't know.
In other news, in North Carolina, a group out for a fun day at the ballpark came upon a spooky scene. While out shagging the balls that they had just been hitting inside the park, one of the young adults went beyond the park fences to grab some extras that had flown particularly far, and that's when he spotted a human skull in the wooded area.
Oh, wow.
They immediately called authorities, and an investigation is underway as to whom the remains belong to and how they ended up there.
Good thing one of those kids hit a dinger.
Exactly.
Because it was over the fence in right field.
Right. It was all the way out there in the wooded area, so he's out there looking for it, and he says, luckily I watched like CSI, so I kind of knew instantly.
Yeah, and also it looks like a human skull.
Other than the fact that you got a human skull staring at you, I feel like it's pretty distinct. We go to New York for this nasty story.
Look at that weird squirrel skull.
I don't watch CSI. I know what they look like.
Right. I'd be concerned that it was fake. I'm not concerned, but I wouldn't believe that it was a human skull.
I would assume it's fake at first.
Right.
And then have that weird realization, like, I don't think it's fake.
See, I'd have fouled everything up because I've been like, oh, cool, fake skull. Then I grab the thing, my fingerprints are all over it.
And then you're charged for murder.
Exactly. Damn it.
The other fingerprints we found were yours, son.
Oh, I see, right. Fake skull. Just leave it here.
Exactly. We go to New York for this nasty story that we covered just about an hour and a half ago. A man was caught on surveillance inside one of the New York subway stations as he approached a woman on a bench with a black bag in his hand. Without warning, he smashed the bag in the woman's face, which was later discovered to be full of human feces. When police were called and apprehended the man, he laughed as he made his excuse of, quote, S happens.
There's not something right with that guy.
No, there is
You
not.
don't say.
Yes. In Virginia, officers chasing down a suspect got some help from an unlikely source. Police were attempting to arrest a man for domestic assault, but he managed to get loose of their custody and take off on foot. While giving chase, the officers noticed something else that had jumped into the fray, a nearby goat that had taken it upon itself to chase after the man as well. The man ran into the woods, but was quickly flushed out by the animal as it continued to attack him, and he was eventually arrested.
The goat. A damn goat.
A doggone goat. Which, I know that they'll charge after people because they're kind of jerks, but I didn't think that they would just actively chase people. They more charge, right?
Can they hire that goat?
Right?
You know, we got a police goat.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that a goat would chase you down just to mess you up. I'll just put it to you that way.
You had a bad experience, right?
Coming after you.
Everybody did. That's why that goat's gone.
And that is it for your headlines with that, Mike Hawkins.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room on the way exclusively on the Odyssey app. Join us, if you will, for the Men's Room Happy Hour. Up next.
Yes, indeed, it is all true, but in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.